This is the truth with Pure Power Cord. The truth. The truth. The truth. The truth.
Good morning, guys. This morning's subject is going to be how we treat others. Let's get into it. Now, I'm sure there have been times in your life when someone that you had a lot of respect for had treated you badly, and you thought to yourself, no, why did they say that? Or why did I deserve that? And these things happen in life. This is how life goes. But how can we treat others with respect and with the way God wants us to treat them? Let's see what the world says about treating others. So here are some basic worldly guidelines on how we should treat other people. Follow the golden rule. Treat others as the way you want to be treated. Number 2, listen with curiosity, speak with candor, and act with integrity. Treat everyone with kindness, not because they are kind hearted, but because you are. Don't judge people by their past. Stand by them and help them build their future. And build them up, even in your words. Don't try to make yourself great by making other people look smaller than you. And remember, everybody has a story, including you. So, in actual fact, the Bible has a lot of things to say about how we treat other people, what we should say to them, and how we should treat them. And they can all be summarized in what we know as the golden rule, as I mentioned just now. Jesus said, saying everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law of the prophets. This is we find in Matthew 7, verses 12. When we treat others as we want to be treated, we will be honest, kind, trustworthy, and loving. We all need honesty and kindness from other people, so we should equally be concerned with giving those things to other people. When God first gave the law to Moses, he included hundreds of instructions about the way the Israelites were to treat each other. We find this in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. So when people treat us badly, the first thing we do, I know I'm like that myself, I want to withdraw from them. I don't actually want to see them. I want nothing to do with them. That's normal human behavior. The problem with that, however, is when Jesus was asked, what is the greatest commandment? Jesus said this: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it, and it is love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. In other words, all the laws God had given to Israel could be summarized in these two commands: love God above all else, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. If we do those two things, we needn't even think of the other laws. We will automatically obey them as part of loving God and loving others. Even when missionaries tour the world to bring God's message to the lost, what they do is they learn the different people's cultures, so they know what is considered offensive and what is considered acceptable behavior towards people. And this helps bring God's message in a clear and concise manner. This weekend, we decided to go to another church because we'd heard so much about it. When we walked into the doors of this church, we were greeted with a lot of warmth. I can tell you it made such a difference that the pastor himself greeted us. And the people that followed him were exactly the same. As I've always said, good filters down, and so does bad. What the pastor did, he prepared the soil for the sowing of the message which took place later on. And it made such a difference because now we knew the pastor's heart, and therefore we could listen to the message with ease, and it sunk in. So the main thing we actually need to know in life is that Jesus is actually our role model. He is fully God, deserving of all honor and glory. We find in Colossians 2 verses 9 and John 1 verses 1. Yet because he loved us as human beings so much, the people he created, he set aside his rights as God to take on human flesh and come to earth and live amongst us. Philippians 2 verses 5 to 11, he voluntarily accepted the limitations of a fleshly body in order to connect with us. He lived as we live, hurt as we hurt, and fought temptation just as we did. Luke 4 verses 1 to 13. In doing so, he gave us an example of how he expects us to treat other people. So, treating others as we would be treated means we must be willing to set aside our own preferences, rights, and desires in order to serve those in our lives. As a mother loses sleep, sacrifices financially, and cares for the children she loves, so that we are to give up our own comforts for the good of other people. Jesus did exactly that. When our focus is on treating others as Jesus would, We don't need 100 specific laws telling us not to murder, steal, rape, abuse, or lie. A heart filled with love of God would never treat others that way. When our heart is right, the right actions will follow. And we see this in Matthew 15, verses 19, and 1 Peter 1, verses 22. So today, as you go out into the world and you experience different people and the way they speak to you and the way you speak to them, make sure that you keep in mind how Jesus acted when dealing with people and how he treated them. Hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers.